everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Pink Pill. I am your host, Jamie Lynn. I have a very special guest. I say that every time, but this one is actually very special. It is my sister, Jennifer, or Jen. I know. I felt like I needed to say your full name and be official, but I never call her Jennifer. It's Jen.
Can we swear? Because what the fuck?
We do, yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I just got nervous under all the lights. I was like, let me just try to be professional.
Never enter my life.
I know. Jen, you're here. You're all the way from Reno.
So far.
I know. Well, it is kind of weird because we both grew up in Cali and then we both ended up in Nevada. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
A little bit, yeah. How far away is Reno from here?
9 hours?
Is it 9 hours?
No, it's maybe like 7 driving. That's like an hour flight.
It's like way colder in Reno.
Well, not as cold as Brooklyn.
Yeah, she used to live in New York for like what, 6 years?
No, almost 10 years.
Oh God, really? Where does the time go? I was still really scared of flying at the time, so I didn't really leave my house.
You came one time.
I did come one time, and I almost like died. I thought I was gonna die on the plane. I'm pretty sure I said I was walking into a bomb. Yeah, I'm surprised they let me on.
I think I remember talking to you.
I was in the bathroom.
In the bathroom,
crying. Yeah. I've really grown. I've really had to challenge myself. But I'm glad that you're here. You know, it's nice having you here because it's, you know, it feels like no time has passed, but at the same time, obviously time has passed. But I feel like when you have that kind of connection, it's just like we just pick up right where we left off.
Oh, we also FaceTime like every day.
We do FaceTime like this. Does anybody else do this when they FaceTime? Because we do for some weird reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dad does it too.
I just noticed when we were in the other room, we were standing the same.
Well, remember, and just at my house the other day, we were both doing this. Yeah. Is it genetic?
It's uncomfortable, whatever it is.
Well, I wanted to have you on because I think, you know, people say I'm like smart, and then I was like, wait till you see my sister because I feel like you're.
No pressure.
I feel like you have a lot of. I feel like you have a lot of good insights, and you know, I've been diving into a lot of like the red pill stuff, and so I thought I'd have Jen on just to kind of you know, we have a dialogue about things, and I thought it'd be good for you guys to kind of see how we respond to some of these things and how we process some of this. So I had a few things written down, and we'll just kind of see where it goes. Sound good?
Great.
Okay, awesome. You have your penis pillow?
I do. I'm going to call him my nut buddy.
Oh my God.
Or like, I'll come up with new ones.
You'll come up with new ones? Oh.
I will rise to the occasion.
Oh my God. We're just going. Lonnie, you thought you were the only comedian here?
Swear. I didn't know I was in a room with 2 comedians. In the family, I see.
Okay, well, look, so I've been seeing this thing kind of run around where Fresh and Fit are saying that they're not insecure. And there's been this whole like battle about I'm not insecure, it's just my preference. And I think that this is actually a really important statement they're making and something that we need to kind of pick at. You know, I'm trying to think of a specific example they say, but they'll say things like, hey, if my girl has an Instagram, it's cheating. Right? What are your thoughts on that? Insecure or preference?
Okay, well, that's not, I mean, you can't even make that distinction, right? Because like, if you're saying, if she has an Instagram, that's cheating, that's my preference. No, you're stating a fact, which is not necessarily true because you're imposing your opinion on somebody else's like autonomy. You don't know, you're not in their body. You don't know what their motives are. So like, you can't ever say that with like assurance. But did you ever write down that thing that I told you when we were talking about this the first time?
I'm not sure. Probably.
This is why I should have brought my phone in. I said something to the effect of like, it's okay to have a preference, right? Like it's okay to have preferences about the person that you're going to like hopefully align yourself with. What's not okay is when you try to impose your will on that person because you're unwilling to compromise on some of your preferences, then it becomes control.
Okay. One thing that I want to say is it might be your preference, but you're still insecure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that has nothing.
So
that's
like
nothing to
these
do-
the way that he frames it, look, they set these things up for failure. Like pick this bad decision or pick this bad decision. Neither one is an actual choice. They're setting you up. So you've got to kind of recognize the layup here, and you don't have to. And it's saying agree with this or agree with this, as if under the assumption as if both things are true. Both things that they're offering you might be shit examples of what's actually going on, and that's a big thing that I see happening is that neither one is actually like a good choice, right? Just because it's their preference doesn't make them not insecure. So I hear what you're saying about like power and control are two things that happen in abusive relationships. And this is why I really wanted to hit on this point, because we really need to pay attention to these small, they run these things off and they really minimize it. And that's what abusive people do, is they minimize their bad behavior so that you excuse it and then they justify it away. And that's how we get into real shit relationships that don't seem like, so it might start off with like, well, I don't want you going to the club. Okay. And you know what? That's your preference if you just state that.
Mm-hmm.
If you just state, I don't want you going to the club, I'm not comfortable with that, that would be a preference. I can get on board with that. That's fine. You don't want a girl that goes to a club. You want a girl that stays home. That's fine. There are plenty of girls that are homebodies. Okay. But say you got a girl that wants to go to the club and she doesn't go because you threaten the relationship or you threaten to break up with her. Well, now you're imposing your will on somebody else. Okay. Let's say you're like, well, I don't want you wearing this. I don't want you wearing this. Right. What do you think about statements like that? Would that be considered controlling or would that be considered preference?
Well, I think it can be either. I think it's the action behind it, right? Like you can say if you're already in a relationship, then your expectation is for them to change their behavior. That becomes controlling. You're well within your rights to say like, I don't want someone who wears this. And then your potential partner can take it or leave it, just like you can take it or leave it if they say, no, I'm going to wear that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main difference is like, are you already with somebody who doesn't align with you? And are you going to try to make them change?
Mm-hmm. See, that's what I think that they're trying to do, is they're trying to change people that they're interested in. And when you're imposing your will onto others, that's when it becomes more about power and control. If you're willing to walk away and give them freedom, then it would be preference. It wouldn't be power and control. That's a fine line to be able to distinguish the two, but it's important. And look, I want to assess their motivation for doing this. It is rooted in insecurity, look, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. We're all a little insecure. We all have things that don't make us feel comfortable, but own it. Own it. Don't pull it off like you're this alpha. I don't have problems. Like, you know what I mean? These things don't bother me. These things clearly bother you. You're worried about your girl cheating on you. That's why you're worried about her having an Instagram. It's beyond, like, it might be your preference, but you're concerned. And that concern might be more rooted in who you're picking and who you're entertaining. Maybe you picked somebody that you really can't trust, or maybe you had trust issues before you got into this relationship, and those things need to be sussed out and resolved before you start dating and imposing these things on other people.
Right. Or maybe you have just no faith in the people that you're interested in general. Like if you're a straight guy, right? Maybe you just have absolutely no faith in females. That's a you problem. That's something that you need to work out first.
The way that I hear him talk about females is really disgusting. Like it's very like it's objectifying, and it's just like they're there to serve one purpose and one purpose only.
I have only literally ever watched the clips that you sent me, but yeah. it's pretty nasty. It's a pretty narrow lens.
They say things like, you know, women don't get shamed for their preferences. They say like, and then they give an example of this. They're like, see, women don't get shamed for wanting a tall guy. You know, but we get shamed for not wanting our girl to go to the club. And that's just not actually what we're talking about. We're not talking about that. Like, women wanting a tall guy would be a preference. I wouldn't think that would be power and controlling. And some women do get shamed for that, right?
No, because you can't go to your short guy and be like, just get taller. You're just going to have to get taller.
Mm-hmm.
You can't impose that kind of control. That is a preference.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Right. And then, but if you're trying to, and look, if they literally left it at this, like, I don't want you to go to the club, that would be preference.
Mm-hmm.
But then you stop entertaining the girl that wants to go to the club. You stop entertaining it. You don't continue to impose your will on her, threaten her with veiled threats or whatever. And I'm not saying that they do. I'm just trying to give you guys an example of the difference between power and control versus preference. And the way that these guys lay it out, it seems more power and control. It seems more rooted in fear and insecurity than it does in faith and trust in a relationship. These guys look at women like they're the devil. Like they're just a bunch of 304s? Is that the code that they use?
What is that?
It's hoe in numbers, but I guess we're not supposed to say that on YouTube, so you're gonna have to bleep that out. Yeah, it's code. It's like bro code.
Oh, it's the numbers on the calculator.
Yeah, smart, huh? I think I learned that in the 5th fucking grade.
Oh no, 5th grade
Yeah.
was just boobs.
Yeah, boobs. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
80085.
I'll still remember that one. That's like out of, like they really seem to lack trust with women, and I think that that's going to pose a lot of relationship Look, if like a lot of times when you can't trust somebody, I feel like that's because you're not trustworthy.
Absolutely.
It's your own projection being like, well, I know that if I'm at the club, I'd be doing A, B, C, and D, so I know she's not going to be faithful.
Mhm. This is what people do in this avenue, like this venue, because this is what I would do.
Exactly.
Like, and people like that with such a narrow view, right? Like they cannot comprehend that somebody can function in a way that they don't function.
Mm-hmm. See, we tend to see things through our own lens and our own worldview. So if I lack natural empathy, which some people do, then it's really hard to accept or receive care from others. These concepts are foreign to you. If I myself am not a very trustworthy person and I don't trust other people, I don't think people can be good or faithful to me. And I won't give them that grace because I haven't experienced through my own lens. These concepts are foreign. And so when you listen to people like this, I want you to look at it through the lens of possible projection, where they're projecting their own insecurities, their own fears onto their partners, onto their relationships. And it's not actually something that person did. It could be something that they experienced in the past or have to do with their own relationship with themselves, them not feeling good about themselves, not feeling worthy even of a girl that would love them like that, or a relationship that would love them like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, shit.
Sorry.
A mic drop moment.
Yeah. Sorry. I just gotta get some water.
Okay. I think these guys are pretty anxious. They seem anxious to me. They don't seem very confident.
Oh no, they're definitely not confident.
Can you tell?
Yeah, I mean, I've never listened to a full podcast. I've only seen like clips here and there, but all of the over-speaking, all of the interruption, all of the like blanket statements, and even down to like the people that they bring on, right? Like just from what I've seen, everybody seems kind of blindsided just to be there.
You know what's so interesting is that I think a lot of them are blindsided because my first experience being on a show like that, I was blindsided. I was asked to be on Rollo Tomasi's show. Michael Sartain asked me to come on. And this was about a year ago. And this is why I started Pink Pill, actually, because I was like, what the fuck was that? I went on his show and I was told that this was going to be about love, dating, and relationships. And I was like, oh, perfect. Right up my alley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like, awesome. And then I get there and I was like, whoa, what do you mean women lose value as they age? What do you mean a man that's high value is never going to be loyal and faithful to me? What do you mean? Basically, I left there feeling pretty hopeless. And I was like, wow, there's really no, I don't know what you're offering either. Like, I don't know what services you're offering. Like, I don't, like, it's a men's coaching program. Like, it's under the veil of a men's coaching program. But really, like, towards women, you're really saying, unless you get married young and you stay young forever, there's no fucking hope for you.
Well, the audience isn't women, right? Like, it's literally just how many dudes can we completely fuck over? Like, how many, like, if we can just get every man out there to devalue women completely, then we won't feel bad about ourselves anymore.
I feel like they think they are owed pussy.
I feel like
Like they're like, no, it's like that's like kind of the underlying anger. It's like, I'm so mad I didn't get this and I deserve this, that it is my right to have it.
yeah, incels.
And screw you women for not giving it to me. You know? And so they developed this program about being better just to get girls. The nagging is something that really bothers me within that community. Like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with nagging, but basically it's part of a pickup artistry that they teach in Red Pill. And quite simply, it's just how to put women down. And the psychology behind that is when you bump a woman down, she's more eager to please you because she's trying to get your attention and validation. She wants you to like her. And they're not wrong. That psychology actually is true, but they use it against women. So, you know, one of the things that I was actually listening to today was a woman who was on the Fresh and Fit podcast, and he had been hitting on her, and she came out publicly and talked about this. She was on.
Well, he basically made her go on a date.
He made her go out on a date, separated her from her friend, wouldn't take her home. He tried to kiss her, apparently.
Oh, he did kiss her.
Well, he kissed her, yeah. And then she rejected his advance. And then here's the neg. You need mouthwash, your breath stinks. Okay. So then she gets mouthwash,
Which
right?
is insane to me.
Absolutely insane. And then I think he tried to make a move on her again. But what he's trying to do is he's trying to devalue her so she's more likely to please him. He's saying, you're not shit. And let me tell you what that is. That's his projection. That's him not. Like, people do one of two things, okay? It's called leveling, okay? They either bump you down to where they see themselves, or they bump themselves up to where they see you. And what he did in that moment is he's bumping her down. This is why the self-help group is so unhealthy, because they're hurting and personally attacking your self-esteem as a woman. They're saying you're less than. And this is coming from a guy that wrote a book saying women deserve less. This is why stuff like this is not harmless. You're attacking a person's sense of self, sense of self-worth. You don't know what that girl's been through before. And then you wonder why she tolerates bad, abusive behavior. It's because of stuff like this, because he's grooming her and setting her up for that. And that's why this stuff really pisses me off. But going back to the whole thing is, like, they rope these girls in under false pretense. I don't know if that's how it is now, because most people know who Fresh and Fit is, but they rope them under false pretense, saying like, oh, we're just going to have a discussion about dating. It's not really a discussion. It's them talking to women and telling them why they're shit.
Yeah, it's literally just like, please come on this platform and let me destroy you.
It really frustrates me that women continue to go on this show.
Well, I think that, you know, they know their audience, and I think that they might be very well known, right? But the women that are going on that show don't know what they're in for. They don't listen to that. Why the fuck would they? Like, and unfortunately, a lot of people will do a lot of things just for exposure. Like,
That's I know for a fact that they promise people exposure, because I was actually they were here just recently, and I was actually asked to go on and I declined again. No thanks. Gross. I mean, men like that shouldn't get the time of day, to be quite honest with you. But men, I should say boys or betas might be a better term. Yeah. Anyway. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
that's fine.
You know what I was thinking? Well, I don't know. Do you want to know what my brain just did right now, which is so crazy? I said beta, and I thought of a little blowfish, just pufferfish going.
You know that
That's the image that I got in my mind.
But like, you know, beta fish.
Beta is a fish, yeah.
It's not.
They're way more aggressive than.
But it also doesn't look anything like a blowfish.
I don't know. It just happened to me. What was I saying? What is wrong with me?
I'm here.
Yeah, probably.
I'm here. Nothing matters.
What was I talking about?
Things. Like
Rolo, and how the red pill guys are, how they like bash women.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. They, when I declined Fresh and Fit again, I was sent video after video on why it would be good for my career. Yes.
From who?
Michael Sartain actually was really, really trying to get me on. And he sent me videos of, look, fish.
Fresh fish.
I'm just gonna start calling him fish. So he sent me a video of it was something that some girl did with him, and it was a one-on-one thing, and it got like 5 million views, and he goes, this catapulted her career, quote unquote. That's what he texted me.
What's her career?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. She got a lot of views, but I'm like, I don't know who she is. I have no idea. She had a conversation with him, and it was interesting to watch, but I don't really know who she is. And like, look, if you have, and here's what really kind of stuck out to me. If you have to try that hard, you're desperate.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Like, you're really fishing. Like, why are you working so hard? Like, if you guys are as cool as you say you are, shouldn't you have women lined up the door?
Yeah, and why do
You know?
they, I mean, come to think, like, why do they only interview women? Like, why do they only bring women on?
Well, I think it's so that they don't only bring women on. I have seen them do panels with men, but it's
So that they can do a high five circle jerk situation?
kind of. I have seen them bring on people with opposing viewpoints, so I will give them that, but it's rare. For the most part, it is a high five circle jerk. Yeah, for the most part. It's men, it's an echo chamber of men that validate their own thoughts, opinions, and beliefs about how terrible women are and why they, why they deserve less, unfortunately. And look, and they always go back to this argument too. Well, we're not equal.
What does that even mean? Like, in what context?
So they give this example. They're like, I would put my life at risk for you. If there's an intruder, this is literally the example that they use. If there's an intruder that's breaking into the home, it's me that's going to have to fight,
But yet Myron was the one who ran away from an intruder.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't think that guy's
Bitch.
fighting anyone.
I think he's the first one out the door.
Yeah. He's going to, like, do that thing where he's like, oh my God, and he just shoves you in front and runs the other way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But they're like, they say that, you've got to be, the roles are different because they would put their life on the line, so somehow their sacrifice is greater. And I think, okay, well, let's look at the daily sacrifice, actually, because I think women might actually sacrifice more on the daily. First of all, they sacrifice their bodies to give birth, number one.
That's a bitch. I've done it.
Yeah. Yeah, not fun,
Not
right?
fun.
I don't think it's it's not pain-free,
I mean, yeah. The overall objective, the outcome, 10 out of 10. Experience, would not recommend.
Yeah, but I mean, I would say that's a sacrifice for sure. It just hormonally, how your body, like, how are they gonna match you on that? Like, how would a man ever match a woman on that? We're not equal on that. So, like, are we saying? So, no, wait, hold on. Using their own logic, are we saying that somehow that they deserve less rights as a parent because they didn't carry the child for 9 months? Like, I just want to put that logic back on them and say, you know what? We're not equal as far as some of these things. Like, men typically tend to be more physically stronger than women. But just because we have those differences, does that mean that we deserve less human rights? Does that mean that we deserve less equality? Does that mean that we deserve less treatment? Because that's the way that they frame it. And that's why this stuff is really destructive and can lead to the abuse of power and control.
Well, it's so dumb too, because, right, like, you have them saying stuff like, oh, if you were to point out, like, okay, well, you can't give birth, like, that shit's really fucking hard. Oh, well, you don't get credit for that because that's what you're meant to do. That's what that's what your body's for. Like,
Well,
you're the only one capable of that. But then conversely, they'll say, like, well, I'm stronger, so I have to protect you, so I need extra credit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's...
Their logic is really flawed. And honestly, there are so many contradictions in the way that they frame things that it's really easy to pick it apart. Honestly, it's super easy to pick it apart because what they constantly go back to is the rules apply for you, not for me.
Mm-hmm.
This like monogamy is a big one where I see a huge double standard with them, and they justify infidelity by using evolutionary psychology. This is the logical fallacy they use, or maybe it's not a logical fallacy, maybe it's some other fallacy. But they use evolutionary psychology to say Men cheat because we've done it since the dawn of time, and it makes sense genetically that we need to spread our seed. And women, it makes more sense for you evolutionary to stay faithful because you're carrying the offspring and rada, rada, rada. And that's what they use to justify cheating. And they say it doesn't make evolutionary sense for a man to be monogamous for those reasons. And I completely disagree with that. I think that this is just something that you're using to excuse bad behavior. And then they say, I hear them say this: open on my end, closed on yours, in reference to the relationship, meaning I can fuck as many bitches as I want, but you're not allowed to go to the club.
Well, then we're not in a relationship. What is it? What are we even?
Well, it's certainly not like it's, it like this is
They just want a harem,
yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, and like if that's what you want, fine, but don't like actually get somebody that wants to sign up for that,
Well, I think that, and this is something that you had sent me a clip of, right? Like, love is conditional, or love is supposed to be unconditional, right? Like, there was a guy talking about that, but like their confusion about like conditions and unconditional is like they're basing this all on transactions, because I don't think that they've ever found a woman that's genuinely interested in them, because they bring absolutely fucking nothing to the table other than like what they can buy or how much exposure they can give. So like they're basing this whole thing on like not finding a good partner, not being able to find a partner, not even wanting a partner, just wanting X amount of women to kind of like go through as they please, because there's no substance there. They have nothing to offer.
I don't think these guys know how to connect to women. Like, I don't think either one of them
they'd
has
they'd have to be vulnerable to do that. And
Yeah.
clearly, like their whole podcast, really, if you break it down from like the whole reason this is happening is because they're too insecure to be vulnerable at all. Now, they're so insecure that they're now trying to get the rest of men on board to sign off on their insecurity.
Yeah.
Wild.
They say that, women are delusional, that the world protects women and doesn't tell women the truth. I think women are fed a ton of negative messages from society about how they're not good enough. I think that we're held to very rigid beauty standards from the minute we're born, and they only reinforce that on their show, saying, well, you need to be young and you need to have a low body count if you want to find love. And they reinforce that pressure that women have. So to say that we don't experience judgment or criticism, to say that we have it easier than them, we don't. We each have different challenges, being women and men. They have challenges that we don't experience, and we have challenges that they don't experience. But it's not fair to say that we don't have them and that life is easier for us. I'm sorry, but like if I go to the store, my keys are in my hand. Do you know why? Because I'm worried about getting raped. Is that a concern for them? No. Okay, that's a concern and a luxury that they will never have that kind of fear or worry. These are like, if you go out on a date, are they worried about getting date raped or drugged? No, probably not. If you piss somebody off as a woman, you're immediately worried about retaliation or repercussions. You have to be careful what you say, because the physical strength is so different, and you don't know what somebody's going to do. Also, the abuse that by the time we're at this age, most of us has experienced some form of abuse, verbally, emotionally, or physically. And most women have been, I think it's like 1 in 5 have been sexually assaulted or sexually harassed.
I would be surprised if it's that few.
I would too, because I think that's what's reported. So if that's what's reported, it's probably much higher than that. So women are very like attuned to those things and not able to do certain things because of that, whereas men actually have the luxury, or more of a luxury. Not to say that men don't experience abuse, they do, but it's not the same. And they have more of a luxury and a freedom that women don't get. Now, we're not equal on that, but like I don't see women complaining and saying, I deserve all of this because I have to deal with all of this.
Well, I mean, they just don't fucking understand anything, right? Like we are so judged. We have to have, we have to be under a certain age. We have to be under a certain body count. We have to have good skin, good hair. We have to be X amount fit. We have to, like, the only thing we get a leeway on is height. Unless you're tall. Don't be a tall girl.
Mm-hmm.
But oh fuck, I forgot where I was going with this.
Don't be a tall girl.
No, I know I said that last, but like, what were we just talking about? Oh yeah, like men just have the freedom of safety. Generally, they have the freedom to exist in their skin. Yeah, men get ripped on for like being overweight, for being short, for like, but not remotely to the same degree that women do. And this still isn't where I was going. I have no idea where I was going with this. What were we talking about before this? Like right before?
I don't know. I just think that those things are perpetuated on their podcast where
Well,
well, I had a note here. Those things are just perpetuated on their podcast. You know, they're saying like, we don't. They're saying like we deserve less. You know, and those things are really dangerous, I think, to hear for women. And their language towards women is really discouraging, and they just sound so bitter and angry.
for how little they think of women or how little they want us to think they think of women, it's very striking to me how much energy they put into trying to tear them down.
Mm-hmm.
I think that these things don't equal, right? Like
No, they don't.
One of these things is not like the other. Like
They don't. Like, I really don't understand the point, because they're not like, I guess it's to help men, but you're not really helping them actually get
No.
relationships or healthy relationships. You might look,
you might help a dude get laid once.
yeah, maybe, but I can tell you with this, like any woman with some self-respect, if she gets nagged or something like that, she's not going to tolerate your bullshit.
Yeah.
A woman with self-respect and self-love, if you do that shit with her, she's going to be like, sayonara, get out of here. Because there's 100 men that are good men that won't do that to her, that will respect her, that will see her as a valuable person beyond what her body count is, beyond her age, and beyond her physical appearance. Believe it or not, there are plenty of men out there that value those things. Like, and look, I think that looks are important, but looks aren't everything.
No.
And they're really just saying like, you've just got to stay pretty forever. You've got to be young for forever. Like, women can't like this is so discouraging for women to hear, because how can you live up to that kind of pressure? You're basically saying like, okay, so their advice to women is this: get married as young as you can, have a family. But then on the flip side, they're like, if you're dating a high value guy, he's never going to be faithful to you. So don't expect it. So like, what is the
But at
hope?
the same time, I just watched a clip today where they're saying like, oh no, if a woman is with him from the beginning and like helps him build himself, like he's going to be loyal. Men are more loyal than women, which is just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, choose a side.
So that is a good point, because that is where they got a big contradiction. So he did say that men are way more loyal to women. But if that's the case, then why are you saying it's okay for me to cheat? It's okay for me to see other women. He's saying if that girl was with him from the get-go and she's a ride or die, he's not gonna leave her. And what I think he's trying to say is he'll keep her around, but he'll still bang other bitches.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I think he's trying to say. But guess what? That's not what she wants. She doesn't want that. Women with self-respect, women that have like, women, not even women that have self-respect, women that are in love with you.
Yeah.
Women that are in love with you don't want you banging other bitches. If you got a girl, and this is the fucking truth, okay? If you got a girl and she's cool with you fucking other bitches, she don't love you. She don't love you. She's just not that into you, bro.
Yeah, you're providing something else that she is into
Yeah.
a lot more
And
than you.
And she's capitalizing on that. You know, she's capitalizing on that.
And in that case, it's like, hey, if it works for everybody, do your thing. Like,
I see so much grooming too in the red pill community, where they're trying to like groom women into this like, accept your man's cheating. Don't, ladies, don't accept it. Like, I don't think men need to be perfect. I think cheating is very hurtful both ways. Like, men get really hurt too if they're cheated on as well. Your woman feels the same way. Okay, you don't want it done to you. They don't want it done to them. You're not different just because you've got a dick.
You know what's so funny is that, like, wait, what did you just say right now? Say it again.
I'm just saying that cheating hurts both ways. They don't want their women going out of their relationship banging other dudes. You know why? Because it hurts. It hurts. But somehow it's okay for them to do it because it genetically, evolutionary makes sense. No, it still hurts. It doesn't make it more okay because you're a dude and somehow you're supposed to be able to spread your seed. Emotionally, it hurts. If that's honestly the case, then I think that evolutionary psychology would also support the emotions of the woman being more okay with that. Right?
Right.
I think the emotions of the woman would be more adapted to her dude cheating on her if it was evolutionary in her benefit to do so. So I think that right there is an inherent contradiction as well. Like, wouldn't her emotions be lined up as well, being like, yeah, I'm totally cool with him banging other bitches?
Well, then too, because I was thinking, when you speak to actual traditional men, not the red pill community, but actual traditional men, they find cheating on your wife disgusting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, how are you going to say that you want a traditional woman, but you guys aren't traditional? Because a real life traditional man who's in his 50s, 60s, 70s.
It's like one and done.
Yes, they would never cheat on their wife.
Man, I saw Charlemagne. He has a podcast, and he was like part of the Breakfast Club, and he was like a self-admitted like player, like always having multiple women, and he did like a 180 because his wife was gonna leave him. She wasn't cool with it.
Right.
And he's what red pill would be considered like a high value man, a guy with money, guy with options, guy that's fit. That's pretty much all that they need, right? To be a high value man. Ridiculous, but anyway. And she was going to leave him, and he cared so much. He was emotionally invested in the relationship. It was beyond sex for him. They had something bigger than that, where he was willing to lay those other things down. And you know what he said? He said, it made me a better man. It made me a better man. And he goes, none of that, all the bodies in the world couldn't give me what she gave me. You know, because relationships are beyond sex, and we have to start looking them as beyond sex. You know, men live longer when they're with a woman.
Mm-hmm.
They live longer when they're with a woman. It's because there's that connection. It's not the sex that's keeping them alive. It's
Also-
the companionship.
Also, because we generally stop them from doing really dumb shit.
Yeah, true. True. You know, I saw this other thing going around that went kind of viral. It's a really popular female psychologist on social media, and I align with her a lot of her stuff, but this one really kind of ticked me off. She was talking about cheating, and she said that, you know, women can be more forgiving when their man cheats, and I agree with that. I think that they can be, and they might have an easier time processing that, but men should never accept a woman cheating on them and should never take back a woman that cheated because she'll lose respect for you. And I was like, what?
What? Like, that just doesn't make any sense.
I was like, how? Like, so I guess, like, so she'll lose respect. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I think that when we all fuck up in relationships, and like, I think most women would probably feel really grateful if they had a fuck up like that, and they were really in love with somebody, and they decided to work on the relationship instead of leaving.
Mm-hmm.
I think that woman would feel really grateful. And just like men make changes in situations like that, just like Charlemagne, who I was referencing, I believe that women will also respond similarly and do the same thing. If you actually have a woman that's into you, if you have a woman that's in love with you, a woman that's invested in the relationship, it creates that change. Like, women are not going to lose respect if you forgive their behavior.
Yeah.
Like, you're literally saying, like, and this is not fair to women, because you're literally saying, be perfect all the time. Never make a mistake. Because if you make a mistake, he'll lose respect for you and leave you. Pressure. Hello. Not fair being a woman.
Well, and I think, it's a really rough example that you're using, because cheating is really like high. I mean, for me, that would absolutely be a deal breaker. I don't care. Like, if I cheated, I would never think that my partner would trust me again. So like, even if I did get that forgiveness, it would be really hard for me to like move forward in the relationship. Same as if like my partner cheated on me. I really just don't know if I can come back from that. I know some people can, and I know, one of my best friends, right? Like, her husband was a serial cheater. Like, oh my God, what a fucking nightmare. But she stuck it out, and like, I hated him for so many years, and I love them now, and I love them as a couple, and I think they're very strong together, and like, I just don't know if I could do it.
I think it's really hard, and I feel like I've overcome those challenges because I've been cheated on in the past, and I decided to work through those things and did get over it.
I have been cheated on so many times too, but
Yeah.
the fucked up and funny thing is I always broke up with them organically before I found out they cheated on me.
Maybe you
And
just kind of knew it.
I have never broken up with somebody because they cheated on me. I've only found out afterwards.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of how I broke up with people.
I was usually just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
I don't really think I broke up with people.
You've been dumped. Don't admit that.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, well, my husband just disappeared one day, so that happened.
Oh, fuck.
Ex-husband. No, it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm over it now.
He'll be on Dateline one day.
He will be 100%. They're gonna interview me about that guy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no,
we
really.
need to do a podcast on that.
Oh,
We're just saying. I mean, now it's out there, right?
It's
like,
out.
We knew.
We knew. Yeah,
We're
I
not
just
gonna
want
get
I just
into
want you
it.
guys to know there's gonna be a day where they're gonna like show a clip of this, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, I knew the whole time.
What?
Yeah. I can't say too much about it, but there was some crazy stuff that happened, and when you're in it, you can't really see it, but when you're out of it, you're like,
Oh my god.
wow, I
Wow.
think that was really, really bad and very, very scary. And oh, so that's what that is. That's what that's called. You know.
Yeah, but that's also, I mean, like that slow burn manipulation where you can't see the forest for the
Yeah.
trees. That's literally what these guys are training other men to do.
I know.
Yeah.
It's really nasty. And this is why I wanted to start a conversation around this and why I felt Pink Pill was so important because I was scared, honestly. I saw people buying into the lies. I saw people because they say things in a way where it makes it hard to respond, and they kind of filibuster you, and they do these things where you're just kind of like, well, that sounds kind of okay. But yes, I want a traditional man. Well, you're not a traditional woman. Okay, I guess I'm not a traditional, so I guess I can't have a man like this. And they just get wrapped up in this like loophole of
It's circular logic.
Yeah, it's just word
it goes
salad.
nowhere. It's not even like a real argument because it's like reading a horoscope, right? Like it's vague enough to fit in any facet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it doesn't work. Like life doesn't work like that. And I think the reason that they're getting traction is because it is so simplified, right? Like it's easy to digest if you don't think too hard. And a lot of people, unfortunately, don't like to think very hard about things that are painful.
Mm-hmm.
So then they're just like, well, I mean, look at this platform, look at their audience. Like it works for them. They keep getting all these like beautiful women to go on their show, and like some of them are agreeing with them. And like this is so maybe if I just like pigeonhole myself into this viewpoint, I'll get somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I just stick to this little stratagem, maybe this will work for me. It's not going to work.
It could work, okay, but it could work. It's only going to work on a certain type of person. It's going to work on the broken.
Yeah,
It's going to work on the people that don't value that are really struggling, probably with self-esteem. It's going to work on girls that are pick me.
It's going to get you into a super great toxic relationship.
Yep, it will. Here's the thing. Like, if you're doing this for chicks and not love, you're going to get a girl that wants you for your money or your resources, okay? That's what you're going to get, and you reap what you sow.
And that's what they're preaching, right? Like this whole thing is like, this is how you get girls like this because all girls are like this. If you stop there and take off the all girls are like this, okay, maybe you have a point. But like most people, men and women, are not that shitty.
They're not. Like most men want love, and most women want love as well. Like, look, and the people that he's talking about, he's picking from a certain type of audience. Like he's finding
the only women that have ever been interested in him.
Yeah. But he's going on he's going on sites like Seeking Arrangements, which is, I think that's for, or like Ashley Madison, which are sites that are sugar baby sites. Okay, so you're already, a woman is in a certain type of frame of mind right there, probably more money motivated than love motivated, and so you're gonna get a certain type of exchange with a person like that. But if you're just meeting, like, if you're exposed to more women in more cultures, more like different settings, you're going to be exposed to different perspectives. The thing is that at this point in his life, he's so set that he's just only seeing negative. He could have five women do kind acts for him, and he would only see the bad thing that they did. That's how skewed his vision is. So he's only going to read the negative because that's what's been reinforced in his brain so long. I kind of want to end with this one final thing that I heard him say. And he was talking about mama's boys. And he said, women hate mama's boys because the mom defends men from vulturous women. And here's what I want you to pay attention to. Look at the way that he framed that. Vulturous women.
I'm surprised he even knows that word.
Yeah, and I'm sure he like Googled it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's a hate word for women?
I've already used all the other words so many times.
Yeah. So I want you to because how he frames it is really important, and it gives you an insight into his feelings around women. You are already his adversary. Okay, you're not his partner, you're not his lover, you're not his girlfriend. You're vulturous, and he's entertaining you. So that's his fucking bad, right? Why is he even dating a woman like that anyway? But vulturous women, look, that is not the reason women don't like mama's boys, okay? Women, and I advise women not to date mama's boys, okay? It's not that men can't love their mothers. It's just when you're in a relationship, there is a hierarchy.
Well, let's define what mama's boy is.
Okay, why don't you break it down?
Well, no, I think that it's up for debate, right? Because certain people would be like, oh, well, a mama's boy is just somebody who loves his mom. No, I absolutely want to be with somebody who loves and respects their mom. But what does it mean to be a mama's boy? A mama's boy, essentially to me, would mean somebody who is choosing their mom over everybody's. Mama has the final say. Mama is giving you daily advice, life advice, dating advice. Mama's maybe still picking out your clothes and packing your lunch. I don't fucking know. Mm-hmm. There are degrees to this.
So my ex-husband would do this with me, and it caused a big problem in my relationship, my former marriage with him, because and he wasn't always like this. In fact, I don't actually think he was a mama's boy. He just literally did it because he was narcissistic and wanted to piss me off and irritate me, and it worked. But he would do things. He would have to run things by his mom first and not me. It got to the point where the boundaries were so bad, his mom would drive past our house and get my mail. His mom was the first one in my newly purchased home. It wasn't me. It was him and her. Okay. These things pose problems in a marriage because it's saying she comes first and not you. And when you're a union, the relationship comes first, and the mother is not ignored. She's not replaced, but she's not the first.
It's a different dynamic.
It is a different dynamic.
If you have a partner who is constantly reinforcing that you are not their partner, mm-hmm. what do you have?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And it's just if you and women are going to have a hard time with that, and they're going to feel disrespected, and they're not going to feel safe in that relationship if what makes your relationship unique and special if they're going to mom first? You kind of lose the beauty of being a wife or a girlfriend.
Well, it's not only that, but you also, I think, sometimes feel the pressure to then also be a partner to mom, right? Mm-hmm. You've got to get in good with her too, and now you're a throuple.
Absolutely. And it's just let's say you get into a riff with mom, which happened to me. Well, now husband's not talking to you, right? Now, let's say mom doesn't like something that you did, because this happened with me all the time. I would set a boundary with her. I would tell her no, hey, don't check my mail. Don't drive by past my house and check my mail. Don't store your stuff in my house. Right? And I would set those boundaries with her, and then she would cry to my ex-husband, and then I would get in trouble for it. It causes a problem. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, And look, I don't actually think he was a mama's boy. He just did that because it would ruffle my feathers. Yeah, because I don't think he ever did that before. I think he had really good boundaries with her before, but he knew that we were having problems, and he was like, "Oh, this is entertaining for me. Let me do this." That's narcissistic supply, by the way. I just, is just anything to irritate you. So, that's what he did. But I think that having challenging these ideas and these perceptions are really important. You cannot take what these guys say verbatim. You have to know that they're colored through a lens of pain. Just because it's their preference doesn't mean that they're secure in their preferences.
It's fear. It's all based in fear.
Yeah. And like if you have to watch what your girl's doing all the time, if you have to keep such a tight leash on her, there's a real lack of trust in the relationship, and that's going to implode regardless of what she does or doesn't do. Like, because like, here's the thing. Let's say she listens to you and she doesn't do any of those things. You're not going to trust her anymore because she's not going to the club or because she's not doing that, because it's a you thing.
Yeah, because then you're going to go out and she's going to stay home, and then you're going to be like,
Who you texting?
Who are you texting? Why are you always just sitting here? What are you hiding? Who are you sneaking out? Like it's never going to get better.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think we're about to wrap up here for today. Any final thoughts, Jen? Any takeaways for today?
I thought we were going to talk about how we stole bananas.
Oh my God.
I thought we were going to talk about some bullshit.
I forgot about the nanners. Yeah.
The nanners. Oh, and Jamie is slowly becoming our mom. I found.
Oh my God, please don't say that to me.
She is. She is. She does a lot of things.
Do I really? Jen, don't. That scares me. Am I really becoming mom?
I mean, like,
what did I do?
So
the purse thing.
The purse thing. The parking thing. Mom also can't.
I've always parked. You can't park for shit either.
I park better than that.
No, you don't. You park the same.
You haven't even been in the car with me.
Doesn't matter. I know. Because you said I park the same.
You only know what I've told you when I was trying to make you feel better.
Oh my God.
But yeah, we did accidentally stole
bananas.
$2 worth
of bananas. Yeah, I felt bad. I was going to the grocery store last night late and I had them up at the, where you keep your purse.
They were hidden by your purse.
Yeah, I know. I just walked right the fuck back out.
What other stupid shit did we do? Oh, we always stand the same. We covered that.
This is weird. That's a weird thing.
This is our
Why
dad.
do we do this?
This is our dad. You gotta like lean into it. You can't just you gotta.
Well, when we talk on the phone, we do this.
It feels good.
It is really
feels
weird.
Normal.
Have I changed? Like, we don't see each other all the time. Like, have I changed? Can you tell?
What do you mean?
Well, because like when we were looking at mom and dad's pictures, we're like, wow, that was 5 years ago. Total change.
Yeah, but I said in that picture you also looked completely different.
I know. That's scary though.
Do I look different? No, I don't. Do I?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's different?
I don't know what's different with me.
Do I have giant bags under my eyes because of my toddler? Yes. Yes, I do. God, no. I can see them from here.
It has been nice having you here though. Like I've been thinking a lot about Nani and Nano. A lot. I miss them.
Me too.
They were the best.
They were the best.
We would have been wrecked if we didn't have them.
Mom and Dad don't watch this, do they?
No, I don't think they watch.
Been completely
I don't think
ruined.
They watch my stuff.
We would have been absolutely ruined. Terrible human beings.
I know. They were like our saving grace. What's like your favorite memory? Nani and Nano, those are our grandparents.
I remember them teaching us how to play poker with all the change in Nano's little like coin organizer. And I remember him teaching us how to ride bikes in the alley. I remember.
Do you remember the car where he'd like stop and stop?
Yeah,
and
like
ride
and go under that tunnel. I remember sitting in the smoking section of restaurants.
Yeah.
Or like they always set us in the non-smoking section of Lions. Do you remember that place?
I loved Lions. Yeah, that was like their jam.
I feel like it was. And remember how much we loved Nano's steaks, even though they were fucking terrible.
I don't remember them being terrible. I just
you don't remember them being terrible, but if I could like recall, they were like the wellest done.
Well, yes, they always do everything well done. I remember like you talked about poker. I remember like, I remember she had her girlfriends over, like Nadine and somebody else, and like, I was such a dick. I went up to her and like I snuck up behind her and I like unsnapped her bra in front of
all the time.
I unsnapped her bra in front of all her friends, and then she got the fly swatter and she starts hitting Italian grandparents. They will hit you with the fly swatter, and she just hit me with the fly swatter.
I remember how she always used to hide the marmalade from Nano.
That is one of my favorites.
Yeah,
I still get marmalade jelly to this day.
Yeah,
it's my favorite. That was so good, and I think catching butterflies. He taught us how to catch butterflies.
Oh, like pinch it, yeah.
Yeah. And then those were some of my favorite. And he was never too old to get into the kiddie pool. Like these guys, like I think what's so cool about switching topics from that to this is because this is love. Like we actually grew up with seeing what real love looked like.
Yeah, and that was not like, I mean, they tried hard, you know? They were absolutely in love with each other, but like it was not perfect, and that was not either of their first marriages in a time when that was
And Nani had kids.
Yeah, and she had kids, and that was very taboo at the time.
It
'cause
was.
Let me just preface, like, our grandparents are fucking old. They were old. Our whole family's old.
Yeah. Good genetics, though.
Good genetics. But yeah, it's I mean, without having, like, they were what I want my relationship to look like. Like, I want to emulate something like that, where no matter how old you are, like, I mean, this is up for debate, but like, I never saw them argue in front of us. I never, like, in everything that they did, even if they agreed or disagreed, they were still a team.
They were always united, and she was so respectful of him, but he was also very respectful of her, and
Yeah.
he honored her. He honored her, and he really protected her, and she loved him and cared for him, and it was such a beautiful exchange. They had real balance, you know.
Very traditional.
They would play hide and go seek in their 90s.
Yeah, it was
They
great.
like they never lost that, and so when I hear how they talk about relationships, and I thank God we know what real love looks like. There's no comparison, and you should never settle for what they're selling, because there is something so much better out there for you, and I believe everybody can have it. I think that when you work on yourself, you work on healing, and you stop entertaining the things that are not for you, those things are available to you. I don't believe that we have these desires in our hearts for love and connection because they're meant to be unfulfilled. I believe that we have them because we're designed for connection, we're designed for unity, and we're designed for partnership. We're not supposed to walk this world alone. So on that note, I'll get off my soapbox now. On that note, we miss Nani and Nano.
We do.
Very much, man. God, that's hard. That's hard. But Jen, thank you so much for being here. Tell everybody where they can find you.
What do you mean?
Your Instagram, what you do.
Try and find me. You won't find me.
She doesn't want to be found. She's Janonymous.
Jananimous. Try and spell it. You won't get it. Yeah. I'm not telling you.
But I'm so glad that you came and you helped me out today. I think you're very knowledgeable, insightful, and you're a very, very wise woman. I go to her for a lot of my stuff as well.
I'm her therapist.
Yeah. I'm my own therapist a lot of times, but you're also...
How's that working out?
I think pretty good, actually. I'm not terrible.
Yeah.
I'm doing okay. I mean, I'm not 100%, but I'm doing all right. But no, I appreciate you being here. And Lana, thank you so much again.
Of course.
Okay. Until next time, guys. Peace out.